Hello everyone. It's been a while since I released a video for Awakening Artist, and until recently I was just baffled of why everything had been on hold and the feeling of stifled and things not moving. But of course, as we've seen with the recent events, and if you follow anything with the transit of the planets, it makes complete sense. This is a time for introspection and reflection and gathering our strength. That being said, I still felt a huge need to release a video regarding the events in Charlottesville. Not just because everyone's doing that, and I'm glad they are. I'm glad that's a trend. It should be a trend. But also because I am a former Southerner. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I grew up there. I spent most of my childhood there. I'm very proud of coming from Kentucky. I am definitely a Kentucky girl. I like my bluegrass and my bluegrass to stand on as well. But the events in Charlottesville have, as well as the events leading up to Charlottesville, with just the whole election and the things that have transpired since of bigotry and misogynistic behavior, and it has brought back a lot of fears that I had growing up. I grew up with parents that loved me very much, but one of those parents was very religious. My parents were divorced. So I lived with one of those parents, and that particular parent that I lived with was very religious, got involved with the wrong people. And I know I don't want to be part of this video. But this person got involved with the wrong people, very religious people. And so I lived a life that was very juxtaposed. I went to performing arts high schools. My other parent was very involved in the arts as well, and I had exposure to very open-minded people from different walks of life. Simultaneously, I lived in communities that were underserved, that would be considered the projects, as well as living or visiting neighborhoods that were what you would consider backwoods, redneck, which is an unfortunate title. These people were also underserved. What's funny is that, not funny, what was confusing for me growing up was that you would think a person living, working in the city, going to school in the city would be very relaxed and feel at home going to a small town, and I never did. The towns that I would have to go back to, I did not belong. I stuck out like a sore thumb. I was just weird. I was eccentric. I just didn't fit in. And I always felt on edge. I felt anxiety. I felt fear all the time. And I never understood why. I never had a name for it until a few years back when I started really delving into who am I, what am I here for, and discovering how witchy and pagan I really am. I knew deep down as a child that I was different, and that difference would put me in danger. Of course, I never verbalized that because people would take it as, oh, you're taking things too seriously, but I saw what happened to people who were different. And I did see some violence, I did, but never to the extent of what happened in Charlottesville. But it was always there, that energy was always there, and I always felt it. And as an empathic child, it affected me deeply. I knew all my years growing up in the South that I could not be there for the rest of my life, that I needed to get out. I remember hearing conversations with racial and ethnic slurs as if it were just part of the English language. I grew up around Confederate flags being hung on the back of pickup trucks with a shotgun in front of it, if that says anything. Which, you know, I mean, talk about anger and fear there. It wasn't ever a sense of pride. It was a sense of anger and bitterness. And, you know, you're always watching some newscast about some poor congregation having a cross burnt on the front lawn of their church, or a family's home because they were black. So I just knew that if these are the kind of people that would go after black people because they were different colored skin, they would go after people like me who were different and had this very different outlook on the world. And certainly they went after people that I loved, people in my theatrical community, the gay community. And I always related to that community. I always felt a kinship and always thought, well, BJ, what is wrong with you? You're not gay. Why do you feel so strongly about the gay community? And now I know why. It's because you know, we're all together very different. And which is so very screwed up. Because we're all the same in our differences. Because we're all different. But the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, and the people in this governmental administration want to tell us that there's only one type of person in the world. And I want to say that the different people, the people who are not actually different because of their color of their skin or because of their sexual birthright or because of their gender, we're different and we're powerful because of the love, the magical love we have within ourselves. And that's what these white supremacists and neo-Nazis and people in our government are fearful of, because they know how powerful that love magic is, because it is the ultimate creative force in the universe. That's what makes us artists. And that's why I wanted to start the show, Awakening Artist, because we have so many of us awakening to that power that we have within us. And it's not a power that is meant for us to take control of other people and lands, and it's not about that. It's the power of love, the power of healing, the power of being able to express yourself in a world full of idiots. So I want to end this video by asking all of you to connect to your creative power within you, because these events are just the beginning. There are going to be more, because the more of us step up, the more they're going to step up. But it's their last push, because you can't stop the march of time. You can't stop progress. You just can't. So please light a candle for love. Connect to your powerful magic within you, which is love. You're all witches in that sense. And if you know anything about history of the witch, the word witch was really just a title for a healer in a community, someone who provided empowerment and healing in their community before the patriarchal system took over. And we're awakening to that. And I believe that these people who are marching against different people, the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis, whatever they want to call themselves today, as President Obama had said when he quoted, I believe he quoted Nelson Mandela this weekend, he said, people aren't born hating. They learn it. So let's teach them love. As hard as it is, because we're all human, right? Connect to the power of love within you so that we can teach love to everyone. because we're gonna be taking the streets, we're gonna be protesting, we're gonna be doing the footwork, but we also need to be doing the spiritual work. And the spiritual work is within us here. And the spiritual work is in the creative work. So continue to create. And I love you all. And God bless you, Charlottesville.